Welcome back to Mars Reviews. If you didn't know already, I'm Neo.
This is Morpheus, and if you know, you know.
And today's beautiful vehicle, we have a 2014 Mitsubishi Pajero GSL Platinum. Here we have the 2014 Mitsubishi Pajero GSL Turbo Diesel 3.2 litre. The best of the Pajeros in my mind, apart from the Exceed, which is the next step up. But these are the mighty diesels, the most sought after.
Let's talk about the body styling, shall we? You know, it's relatively simple. It's a design from 2006.
One of the longest running shapes in Pajero history. 15
Correct.
years.
15 years of running production. These ended production in 2021. Very, very minimal changes, but they did 3 facelifts. After 2014, they put LEDs in the headlights, which just gave it a bit more of a sleeker, more modern design. The Pajero Gen 4 is a pretty simple design. Very rounded.
Gen 4.
Yeah.
We've done the Gen 2 before.
Yeah.
Much more aggressive, old school body shape. The Gen 3 was that curvature, and the Gen 4 has continued with that curvature.
Personally think the Gen 2 looks much better. You know, it's got that rally Dakar kind of old 90s.
I agree.
Robust look to it, where this kind of blends into more the modern day SUV.
It does. These panels are interchangeable. When you get them all bush rashed up, you can just swap those off.
Really now?
You can.
That's cool.
And that's even on the Gen 2. They're plastic, so they actually can be pulled off and replaced.
Yeah. You've got the chrome looking, you know, Altezza 2000s taillights. No rear wing, but you've got the roof racks for that added downforce. You know, overall, it just works. We come around to the side. There's parking sensors here, actually.
Yes, you've got the parking sensors, and on this, reversing camera.
Yep, so it's not a base model.
They do have a nice front skid plate. The Gen 2 had the ones in the rear, over the center diff locker and the front, but the Gen 4 only has the front for this particular model. The Exceeds get more beefier underbody.
It's got a lot of sparkle to it as well. The paint.
Yeah, the paint's quite
nice
gorgeous.
Paint. Yeah.
You've got the rear step for the side getting in and out. Underneath, you haven't got that rear, that front, or that center protection for the center diff locker, and even plates down the back, where we really noticed on the Gen 2 that was fully supplied. But admittedly, the Gen 2 was the Exceed. All the way coming from their first generation to now, they've kept the body on frame. One of the coolest things, though, is they've got
a monocoque ladder frame, which is unique.
Extremely unique. Essentially, it's tightening the rigidity of the body, connecting to the frame in such a way. It's essentially just an over-engineered body on frame system, but one of the only vehicles that still do it. I do like them, it's just not as aggressive. There's not as much going on. There's not as much road presence. There's not as much culture in the shape. There's not as much aggressiveness. So for me, it is going to be a 6.5. Get a big old bull bar on it, get a winch, get yourself a nice little side skirts and maybe a bit of fender protection. It really buffs it up.
I think with a few mods, that could really make the difference.
Exactly, but as a stock look, 6.5.
I do agree with Neo there. It needs a bit of beefing up. I do prefer the second gen as well. I just think it looks a bit cooler, a bit more classic and rugged. But I'm going to give this an overall rating 5 out of 10 because
5 out of 10.
I much prefer the short wheelbase ones. I think they look a bit more I just like the proportions of the small short wheelbase better. And I think they're actually better off-road as well, and just a bit lighter.
The heart of this Mitsubishi Pajero is this beautiful common rail turbo diesel 4 and 4.1, producing
197 horsepower and 441 newton meters of torque, which is honestly a big jump up compared to the Gen 2.
Yeah.
Because the Gen 3 also had the 4M41. The 4M41 just feels so much more responsive, and you really feel that torque. It's a lot more powerful.
It's a gruntier step up.
Yeah.
It's a bigger displacement for the 2.8 litre that was in the Gen 2.
Yeah.
This is a 3.2 litre. More power, baby. It has a really beautiful combination of low down torque, even comparable to Land Cruisers.
1KZ.
1KZ, the Highlight. Like, these have that upgraded pulling power.
Yeah.
The engine's bulletproof, reliable. I absolutely love them. They've really got that tone down. The inside, they've really added more padding to the interior of the vehicle, so you can hear it less compared to the Gen 2. Beautiful.
And you can really enjoy it when you put it in two-wheel drive and you can really have a bit of fun with it because of the torque.
They also came in the V6 3.8 litre petrol, but the turbo diesel is far more sought after. It's just the better engine because torque, power and response, off-road reliability, dependability and fuel economy.
It is a 5-speed automatic transmission. They did come in 5-speed manual as well.
They did, but hard to find.
Changeover engine, yeah.
Yes.
So no cam belts, anything to worry about. Actually, there's really nothing to worry about on these.
No, just the
DPF.
DPF filters.
But that's with every diesel really, to
honestly,
be honest.
as long as you're getting that service and up to date, getting it
Yeah.
cleaned, you're good as gold.
Yeah.
These are million-mile motors.
Beautiful.
With this beautiful GSL Platinum, you come with cruise controls, being able to answer the phone without picking that bad boy up, and radio controls. Moving over here, you have that beautiful transfer case, 2 high, 4 high, 4 LC and 4 LLC, essentially being able to lock the differential and go from 2-wheel drive to 4-wheel drive, which is again one of the Pajero's household things. Apart from that, beautiful black interior. Cluster is quite interesting indeed. It's just a bit mechatronic looking, isn't it?
Yeah, it looks a bit Euro though. It's got those like, you know, the Euro silver in it, and it looks quite classy, but Neo was saying quite mechatronic.
Yeah, yeah. But apart from that, you've got some nice details with the silver, but it's nothing crazy, nothing special. A simple and easy 6 for me.
It does the job. It's not exciting, but I would love it if it had the oh shit handle.
Yeah,
say
it's
that.
like the Gen 2.
Yeah, the grab handle there on the dash, like the Gen 2.
It's up on the
So,
corner.
and you've also got side airbags, I just noticed too. So obviously in this model, higher safety as well. But I think overall I'm going to rate it a 5.5. It does the job. It's just above average. It's nicer than some other vehicles in the class, like the Patrol.
Yeah. So you've got a reversing camera built into the rear mirror.
That's cool, yeah.
The screen on board.
Yeah.
They used to have these beautiful clusters back in the Gen 2. Now the Gen 4, they've got it all digitized. So you've still got a compass, temperature gauge, and Bluetooth connection up here. But again, for such a screen, it's a screen built for longevity.
Purpose and longevity rather than...
Not for looks and appeal.
Yeah, it's definitely behind its time in that sense.
Tons of room, and even moving into the back there. Open that door there and show up. Plentiful space. Keep those legs closed. That to me feels pretty good.
Again, it's the non-Exceed because the Exceed came with the leather.
Yeah.
This is the vinyl. But I must say, the position back here is really comfortable. There's a lot of knee room because Neo's quite far forward.
Yeah.
The headroom as well, as you'd expect for an SUV of this size, it is very spacious. And I could easily sit here on an 8-hour long journey and be comfortable. It looks like there should be an AC system back here, but it's like a cutout.
That's on the Exceed. So
it's only on the Exceed, yeah.
You get controls there, you get a sunroof, and you get those better interior trims. There you go. And just like that, you've got an additional set of seats. So this turns from the 5-seater to the 7-seater. Huge amount of space, even when the seats are up. Well, it's easy to get in from the back. And you've also got...
I usually prefer getting in the rear end.
Well, yeah.
Because it's just more space to get in. Yeah, and the Morpheus in the back seat.
In the back.
The 4th gen Paj.
It is, so a bit tighter back here, obviously fitting that 7th row in, but it's still a beautiful option for families. Dunners. And now look at that space in the back. Okay, so what does a 4M41 stock, internal, stock everything sound like?
Go to my rear end and you'll find out.
Give us a little tickle. Beautiful.
More grunt from the front, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it sounds a little belt's loose under there, but that still sounds pretty good. You can hear that meat, can't you?
Yeah, it's perfect.
There's meat and potatoes. Hop in. Let's see how she drives. Morpheus is taking it for a spin. What's your initial thoughts, Morpheus?
My initial thoughts is this thing is actually very quiet and smooth on the road for a 4-wheel drive of this type.
Tractor strong, but Lexus smooth. I like that.
Correct now, and you can really feel the monocoque unibody.
Yeah.
This has absolutely no steering feel, to be honest, compared to the 2nd gen Pajeros, which you'll see in our other review. But it's, gosh, it really is numb.
Well, it's interesting you say that because
it's
the
actually
Pajero
really numb.
is one of the best known for it because it's got IFS suspension, and compared to the Gen 2, the Gen 2 actually had a solid rear axle.
Which is
Gen 4,
surprising.
they've changed that. It's IFS back there, so independent suspension all around.
Yeah.
So technically the feel on road should be superior.
We'll see what Neo thinks when he gets behind the wheel, but I think it's very vague, like I'm trying to think what I can compare it to, but like it's even more vague than other 4-wheel drives that I've driven.
I think that's the difference between these newer vehicles. The driver feel and driver connection is less prevalent.
So, and power-wise, it feels
So
torquey.
much
That
torque.
you do get put back in the seat. Like, it's not fast by any means, but the torque comes in instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel
this is faster than the Gen 2.
yeah,
easily.
yeah, definitely. And I'd feel like if you're crawling off road, this would really be able to. It would just be able to tackle anything.
Well, yeah, exactly right, because it's got the super select system. Oh, yes. We're still getting the occasional look.
Oh, the guy.
Masks up.
Well, usually people don't notice, but it was just he was turning and he just really noticed us.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
like, "What the fuck are we doing?" Okay, sorry, I couldn't help but laugh. He was just like, just...
Okay.
Yeah, it's surprising by the steering feel. That's what I'm most let down by. I wonder if you'll agree with me there, Neo.
It's so cool the way the Pajero holds 12 Dakar Rally wins from 1985 to 2007, all done in Pajeros, which I thought was so cool. Obviously these newer ones, unfortunately this generation doesn't have that heritage behind it, but it does have the expertise following it over.
Pajero Evo.
Oh yes, yes, that was such a badass vehicle.
It's just such a badass vehicle, and that was based off the Gen 2 chassis.
Yes, a short wheelbase,
short wheelbase,
but it was designed for Dakar.
Hardcore use off-road and competitions.
Yeah. So you can definitely feel the four-wheel drive element of this Gen 4 has been turned down. They've removed the solid front, so now it's all independent suspension, but it still has the tried and true super select system, which I really like.
Which is great. Yeah, very reliable system. Can have its issues if you don't service the diffs, but usually they're quite robust, aren't they?
Extremely robust.
I think the power feels more than what the numbers actually suggest, which is good. That's a positive.
Okay,
I think the vehicle feels very light on its feet for the size and the weight, but I'm still going to give it that knockdown on the handling.
The handling, right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
So I want to see what Neo thinks of the overall handling in the vehicle.
That torque, that response, I love that.
Yeah.
I'd love to put that 4M41 in a Gen 2. That'd be so sick. So I'm really impressed at the engine. I'm really impressed at the torque. I'm loving that it's got those additions of cruise control. That's really nice on road trip. The kilometers per litre is almost exactly the same as the 2.8, which is impressive because this is a 3.2. This Gen 4 with the 4M41, the improved engine, even though it's a bigger displacement, is just as good in terms of fuel economy, which is awesome.
That is awesome. So what do you prefer, Neo? The 4M41 or 4M40?
I'm saying the 4M41. It is, in terms of the engine, you can really tell the difference. It's definitely bumped up. It's definitely leveled up. The second alteration of the 4M40, which is the 4M41, is more reliable. Yeah, no, I see what you mean. There is a bit more dead zone in it from the steering response, but I'm still really enjoying how it goes around a corner. I think Pajero has done that better than a lot of the newer vehicles. But again, we haven't reviewed them, so we don't know. But I do know it is a specific thing the Pajero intentionally went for. Drive and feel on-road and drive and feel off-road. Now the Gen 4 that we're in currently, obviously, as I've said, has got the rear axle removed. So it's independent all around. So how this does off-road is hard to say compared to the Gen 2, because the Gen 2 is supreme at off-road capability. They're really customizable. The 4M41 loves to be tuned. These are such dependable four-wheel drives. That was new information to me, even when I was looking at the back just to see if it had the skid plates like the Gen 2 did, and it didn't. And then I saw it doesn't even have a solid front axle. Right. That is a surprise to me.
That is very surprising. And that probably explains some of the handling issues with it.
The Gen 2 we did, it had mud terrain tyres on, it had the solid front axle in the rear. So it's hard to say why this one almost feels, a bit more dead. Which is, interesting. Around corners.
Yeah,
because these are arguably in the off-road community known for their on-road and off-road capability. Okay, let's talk a bit of shop. Market value for this. It's got 216,000 kilometers, really good interior, really good exterior, GSL, Platinum, July 2025, market value, I'm thinking between that 20 and 25,000.
I agree with Neo, so around 20 to 25 for this specific example. The 06 models, if you get an earlier 06 petrol, you're more looking at like 7 to 10 grand.
It's crazy.
So
the diesel's way more sought after.
Diesel's
Sorry,
way
I was
more
meant to say that. The diesel, the
4041, yeah.
Yeah, 441, thank you. But it's the petrol, they're more undervalued because people don't want them as much, because a 3.8 litre petrol is costly to run.
They're a little more costly to run maintenance-wise, and
they
also
guzzle.
drink
They
the fuel.
love to drink.
Yeah, we'd always recommend spending that little extra on the 4M41.
But it's crazy that this shape comes all the way to 2021.
It is. It still blows my mind. We've mentioned this a few times down this video.
It's the longest running production shape in history.
We really do believe it's on the E-Class, the E63,
yeah,
2009 to 2017.
But this is one of the longest running production vehicles in that shape, in that generation. Yes, as we mentioned, they do a couple alterations with the front bumper and different spec and trim levels, but the overall shape has always stayed the same. And that's a wrap. So we've done interior, exterior, driving. So what's your overall thought, Morpheus?
As much as I love the torque in it, the 441 Nm, I'm going to say overall drivability is above average, but just a little bit at 5.5.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it is an SUV, so it's never going to drive anywhere near as good as a car.
I'm just compared to other SUVs actually, Neo. And I think compared to other SUVs, I'm like, four-wheel drives actually, sorry.
Yep.
I'm a little bit unimpressed. Just because it's a little bland in the interior, the driving feels a bit vague, but I love the torque. So that's going to bump it up. So 5.5 is my overall rating.
Overall rating of 5.5, all right.
Which is good, it's above average. I like this vehicle for what it is.
It's good, but it's not great. The Gen 2 surpassed it for me.
We need to get one that actually magnets to the plate, huh?
Yeah, we probably do.
Well,
they've really improved from the 4M40 to the 4M41. Power, output, torque. Still got the great and reliable Super Lexus system, which I'm a massive fan of. But the shape, it hasn't done it for me. I haven't rated anything 6.5 for every single rating, but unfortunately this is going for a 6.5 for me. But the price, you have to incorporate that in. These are a great entry-level price for a vehicle that will last your lifetime. This is a 6.5 for me. And there we go. There's the end of the episode with Mars Reviews. Neo and Morpheus.
Signing out.
Signing out. And thank you to our cameraman and editor for coming out. Let us know if you're liking the different angles, the different camera work, just a different way of recording.
And if you do like it, and you don't want to wake up with a Prius next to you in the morning, please subscribe and like the video.
But apart from that, that's our overall rating, guys. Thank you for watching.
Thank you. Till next time. Yeah, it is a little underwhelming. So we are on the same page here with it.
Yeah.
You gave it a slightly higher rating than mine.
It's just because we did the Gen 2 first.
We did the Gen 2 first, and I think...
And I loved the Gen 2.
These just feel a bit more numb, a bit more sensible, in other words. Yeah. That's more sensible. Everything, you know, it'll be a practical, reliable vehicle for many years. It's just not quite as engaging.
Well said, because this will last a lifetime. But I think that Gen 2 just has that little bit more soul in it.
Correct.